Hello, and welcome to a Gooner Ramble podcast. On today's podcast, regular James is joined by Oliver Sessiger to discuss Arsenal's brand new signing, Egyptian defensive midfielder, the number 35, Mohamed Elneny. As you're enjoying this lovely jazz intro, you're probably on your commute to work, walking your dog, just about to do that bicep curl, chest press, or leg press. Be sure to subscribe to the Gooner Ramble on YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. Thank you for all your continued support throughout this season, and we hope you do enjoy today's podcast. Hello, and welcome to a Gooner Ramble special, and it is very special as Arsenal have finally, it seemed like the transfer was going on forever, have completed a deal for Mohamed Elneny. And joining me tonight to give more information on Elneny is Oliver Sessiger. Oliver, how are you?
I'm very good. And you?
I'm good, thank you, Oliver. I'm excited to get this sorted. I know you've been waiting in the wings. I know we've all been trying to get time to organise it, so I'm glad to finally have you on. Now, Oliver, I started following you on Twitter a few days ago. Obviously, I've read some of your tweets. I read the article you sent me. Do you want to explain more to our listeners just what you do and your background in regards to Elneny?
I'm an FC Basel fan, first and foremost, and I'm the Swiss researcher for the Super League for Football Manager, which is quite known in England, I
Yes,
think.
it is, yeah. very, a lot of people here will be very, very big fans of Football Manager, of course. And just talking about Elneny, you know, you say you're a Basel fan, just what kind of player have Arsenal got in him? You know, what do you reckon he'll offer to not only Arsenal but as the Premier League as a whole?
You've got a very, very good defensive midfielder with a lot of stamina who can run during 90 minutes and not appear to be tired afterwards. You've got a great passer, long balls, short balls, it doesn't matter. He can play all balls. A great shooter as well from 20-25 yards out. He scored a lot of screamers this season. Actually, he scored 6 goals this season, which is basically doubled his total at Basel.
It's the same as Wayne Rooney in the Premier League, so yes, it's pretty impressive when you think he's a defensive midfielder. Yeah, 6 goals.
Yeah, it's not bad. And
No.
I think the one screamer who got the attention from Arsenal was the one against Fiorentina in the Europa League.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have seen it from 25 yards out.
Yeah, it done the rounds on YouTube and Twitter when we were linked with him, so I think that's what sold him. You know, Arsenal notoriously don't have a lot of players that shoot outside the box anymore. You know, we sold Podolski, Rosicky is here and there, and Chamberlain tries, but normally they hit me in the head behind the goal when I'm watching it, so it's very rare we have one that goes on target. But you talk about him in Europe. Other than the Fiorentina game, you know, what were his best performances in Europe? You know, some people said that he really impressed against Liverpool and Real Madrid the other year, but, you know, if you could nail down, like, his best performance in Europe.
I'd say Liverpool at home last season when we beat the Reds 1-0.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the pitch during 90 minutes, if I remember correctly, and he ran his heart out. He was also, during last season's Champions League campaign, as long as Basel were in it, he was the player with the most kilometers run in the whole of the Champions League. So you see what you're getting from him. A lot of running, a lot of work rate, a lot of effort. So that's basically a Mohamed Elneny, but he has also technical skills.
Yeah, I was just going to say, on his technical ability, do you think, you know, the Premier League, you're in a lot of tight situations at times. Do you think he'll cope with that, or do you think it will take time to bed in, or is he already comfortable in a tight situation per se?
I think in the tight situations he will be fine because he's very composed on the ball and he can spot a pass. My only worry is he's physically not very strong.
Yeah.
So that could be a problem when he gets going against bigger opponents, physically stronger opponents. So that could pose a problem for him.
In regards to his physicality and everything else, you know, Arsenal fans, me as well, mainly, I worry a lot about injuries. How's Elneny's injury record going? I know he's still a young man, so...
He he has not had an injury at all, if I remember correctly. At
Oh,
Basel,
brilliant.
maybe some short injuries where he missed the game here and there, but overall he's not injury prone at all.
Good. And you said earlier about him having a good engine and everything else. How different really is the pace of the Premier League to the Swiss Super League?
Oh, it's night and day.
Yeah.
It's night and day. Swiss League is a good league compared to other European leagues, but the Premier League, of course, is a much better league and a much faster league. Swiss football is not very fast. It is very tactical, which could mean it's good tactical or bad tactical, but it's not very physical. It's not very run intensive, so he'll have to adapt there.
Mm-hmm.
You certainly have.
Yeah, and who do you see him trying to displace in the Arsenal squad? Because, there were a lot of people saying that he was a defensive midfielder, and obviously with Coquelin out, and we've got Flamini and Arteta and Chambers playing there now. Chambers obviously isn't naturally there. Flamini's ageing, Arteta's ageing. Do you think he'll come in to play next to Ramsey? But then some other people have said he's a bit more like Ramsey in that he'll run, and he's got a bit of end product as well, like you said.
Yes, I think he's a better overall player than Flamini.
That's not hard at the moment, no.
Yeah, I know. He could replace Coquelin, but I saw that Coquelin had a great season so far, then he got injured. I think he'll play alongside Ramsey for now until Coquelin is back. And I hope he gets minutes afterwards, because it would be great for him to leave a mark at Arsenal or in the Premier League in general.
Yeah. Do you think he'd be happy sitting on the bench? Do you think he's just grateful for the opportunity to play in the Premier League and to play at a club like Arsenal, who are, in a title challenge? I know from the article you sent me earlier, he's won a few titles back to back already with Basel, so he can just come here for a little while and hopefully win the league straight away with Arsenal.
At first, I think he will be happy to sit on the bench and get his 10 minutes per game, maybe 20 minutes. Maybe he will play a whole game, because he's ready from a physical standpoint. Even if we have winter break, he trained I think he trained with an Arsenal coach.
Yes, I remember reading this.
Yeah. From there, he's ready, and in the long run, I think he could be satisfied if he gets minutes. If he doesn't, I think he will look for another option then. But for half a season, if Arsenal is going for the title, which it looks like at the moment, I think he'll be ready, and I think he'll be happy to provide to the team what he can do. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, talking of the article you shared earlier with myself, and it done the rounds with a lot of Arsenal fans at the time as well. I remember seeing it put up. You said that you were like the main source researcher for that piece. Did you want to just for people who haven't read it, do you want to say some stuff about Elneny yourself, like describe him as a person, as a character, just more of the man than the player?
Yes, he himself refers to him as a normal person who loves to play football. He's not a star in any way. He doesn't behave like a star. He's just a down-to-earth guy, and he's always smiling. He's happiest when he can play football. I've heard from other fans from FC Basel who met him in the city that he's a really nice guy to meet. Takes time for his fans, signs autographs, makes pictures with them. He's also on social media. So, he was a well-liked guy at Basel, and I hope he'll be the same at Arsenal. Yeah,
so do I. I mean, there's a lot of Egyptian players that have come in the Premier League and haven't set the world alight. Salah was one, Mido, Amir Zaki, there's a few. So it'll be nice to see, someone from Egypt finally make their mark in the Premier League.
I hope so, and for me it would be nice to see a player coming from Switzerland directly to the Premier League, making a mark and enhancing the reputation of the league, and especially for FC Basel, because the Mohamed Salah thing with Chelsea didn't work out so well in the end.
Yes, very true. Just in regards to when you think he'll play, Arsenal this Sunday, we've got a very, very big game against Chelsea. Obviously he was signed in time to play against Stoke, but He was a part of the bench but didn't come on. Do you feel that maybe throwing him in the Lions' Den against the Chelsea, even though they're not the club they were at the moment, they're in a bit of turmoil, but do you feel that's too big of a game to throw him in, or do you feel that Elneny's character and him as a person will go, no, do you know what, I want to be tested against the big lot, like you said earlier, against Liverpool the other year he was fantastic, he played well against Madrid, Fiorentina, they're sort of big European clubs like Chelsea. Do you think he'll want to play in that game?
I think he would want to play. I also know that he plays better in big matches. Whenever we play Champions League against the big dogs in Europe, whenever we played Europa League, one year we went to the semis and lost to Chelsea there in the Europa League, and he played every match. I think he'll be ready and he'll do well in a situation like in a game against Chelsea.
Mm-hmm. And you talked earlier about his passing stats. I know that he was at one stage one of the highest passing in the Champions League or Europa League, wasn't it, the other year?
Yes, yeah. That's correct.
So do you feel that along with the creativity that we have at the moment with Ozil, do you see them two linking up really well?
I do. I actually do. Because Ozil is the player to do the spectacular passes, and Mohamed Elneny is more the player who supports the player who does the spectacular. He had to be that spectacular player at Basel. He was able to do it, but that was Basel. This was the Swiss leagues. And I think he'll do well in support of Ozil, and he'll play 1 or 2, 3, 4 long balls, great balls during a game. Mm-hmm. Or so I hope, yeah.
Oh, that's good to know. And just another question I have personally. At the moment with Aaron Ramsey, he's filled in back into the centre of midfield from being on the right-hand side where he was deployed. This is his position he loves. This is the position he wants to play in. But with Cazorla out, Cazorla sort of restricted himself a bit. His goal tally isn't as high. He's got a lot more tackles and blocks and everything. And Aaron Ramsey doesn't do that defensive side to his game, sadly. But with Elneny, do you feel that he can be disciplined enough to stay where he needs to be? Because like you said, with the engine and everything else, well, him and Ramsey, even though they're both meant to sort of be in the centre and do some defensive duties, do you think they'll both sort of bomb forward? Or do you think Elneny will restrict himself? And like you said, he's a good tackler. Do you think he'll just win the ball and distribute? Do you think that's...
I don't think tactical discipline is a problem at all with Elneny. He
brilliant.
does what he's told to do. As you read the article, and it was mentioned that Elneny is a very fair player. That is true. He's a great tackler, actually. He's never sent off during his career, and he likes to do the dirty work. And then you have, as you said, Cazorla, who's injured now, but you have Ozil, who does the creative work. So I think he'll shine in a defensive role, actually, and he'll stay back.
Mm-hmm. Good. And like you said, more on his shooting stuff. Do you think that's something he'll deploy in the Premier League? Even has he got that sort of side to him where if there is the pass on but he fancies it, he'll go for it, or is he not really greedy? Is he more of a he's more of a team player type per se?
He is a team player, absolutely. But if he sees his chance, he'll shoot. I'm sure. Yeah.
We need some wonder goals at Arsenal. I feel we haven't had one for a short while. I want to see some wonder goals.
Yeah. If Wenger tells Elneny he's free to shoot, then he'll shoot.
Oh, good. Sure. Good. That's good to know as well. That's really important. And so in terms of coping with the Premier League and everything else, you said he'll play against Chelsea. Realistically for him, what do you feel would be a good season for him? Do you think if he come in and, how many games, I think there's 18 odd games left in the league, how many games do you see him getting in the league and, goals or assists or like the contribution he'll make?
It's hard to say for a player like Elneny who has to adapt to a new league, to a stronger league. I wouldn't count on goals and assists. Maybe he makes the odd assist as possible, but I'd look at other stats like balls won, interceptions, tackles, long balls, passing percentage, and all those, and kilometers run per game. I'd look at those stats and look if how he's faring against other good players in the Premier League, and I hope he plays at least 10 matches from the start. Yeah. I hope so.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think if he could get 10, I think you need to play 10 or 11 to qualify for the winners medal. So hopefully hopefully can get enough to get that if we do finally win the league, which will be.
Does he have to start 10 games or play 10?
I think it's play.
Okay.
So if he's only on 10 and in the last game we've got the sub left, just throw him on for a few minutes, make him get to 11, and then he can get his medal card.
I hope so as well.
Yeah. It'll be good. Like you said, it hopefully raise the profile of the Swiss league as well. So that will all benefit yourself, won't it, and everybody else.
It will, yes.
Yeah. And just in regards, like you said about his positional sense and everything else, I know in the article you said that his favourite club is Barcelona. Now,
that is correct, yes.
It always does worry Arsenal fans when you hear of these players that love Barcelona, love Real Madrid, but they join us first. You know, we've been known for the last couple of years of being a selling club. It's got better, but how long? You know, is it 4-year deal we signed him on, I believe?
Until 2020, yes.
Yeah.
4.5. So
do you reckon he'll stick that out, or do you feel that if he does, like you've said, and sets the world alight in 2, he could back away?
I mean, there are not many bigger teams than Arsenal.
That's true.
And, I can only see him joining, if he does really, really, really well, I can only see him joining 2 or 3 teams in the world. And one of them, of course, is Barcelona, but he really has to do really well. I think problem is not a lot of footballers stick out their contracts nowadays. So that's the other part. If he doesn't play, I could see him leave to a smaller Premier League team too. I hope he sticks with Arsenal, because I think he's really a good fit for your team, for your tactics, for your playing style. But it's hard to make a prediction here.
That's good to know. Well, before we wrap it up, is there anything else you want to add about Mohamed Elneny, obviously?
No, I really hope he does well. I really hope you can go for the title, because I don't like all the teams around you.
Neither do I, funny enough.
I'm a Southampton fan myself, so the title is out of reach. And I really hope he does well. I think there's some money in it for Basel too, if you win the title, or I hope it is. So good luck there.
Yeah, and just quick, is there any other players in Switzerland that Arsenal that have possibly been looking at, or other big clubs? Is there anyone else there that's really developing that you can say in a few years' time he could be a Premier League star?
Oh yeah, you've had Shani Tarashai join Everton from Grasshoppers this winter. He'll play on loan on Grasshoppers for half a season. But the one name you have to know is Brel Mbolo. The striker or winger forward from Basel.
Yes.
18 years old already, rumored at Barcelona, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Arsenal was among them. And I think, if I remember correctly, I read a story about an Arsenal scout being at a Europa League game this fall and to watch Mbolo, and then he saw Elneny. I think I read something like that.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting to know. I know Mbolo just from obviously being a fan of, like you said, Football Manager and FIFA. He's one of them that in like 3 years he goes from being like a 60 rated to like a 91 or something. So I know there's a lot of talk of him.
Yeah, he's one of the best wonder kids in the game in Football Manager.
Yeah. Okay, well, I want to say thank you so much, Oliver. That's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you. And if people want to, follow you more on Twitter, where can they find you?
You can find me at Oli_Set. Oli is written at AULIT_Z.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure as well. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.